Hey guys, what is going on? Gus from Galley here. Hope you're all doing great. So me and Joe were actually supposed to record a video today, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. We were supposed to talk about characters that we hope to see return in the story at some point, and that video will probably be up at some point later down the line, so make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss it. Anywho, one of the characters that I was going to bring up was none other than the Golden Lion himself, Shiki. And I thought that since Joe couldn't make it today, I might as well just make a video all about Shiki, because let's be honest, he deserves his own video. In case you watched our last video, and if you haven't, I recommend you check that out. It's in the description below. The video format for this one is going to be a little bit different because I feel really fucking weird talking to a camera by myself. So that's probably going to be an exclusive thing for when me and Joe are recording together. Moving on though, let's talk some Shiki, aka the most wasted One Piece villain of all time. Okay, maybe not that much of a waste because Strong World is still my favorite One Piece movie, but there's just so much more room for Shiki to be used later on in the story, and here's why. He is canon. He is an actual part of One Piece continuity. He's part of the actual story. He is out there somewhere in the One Piece world. And that speaks volumes, I think, for his probable return. However, it's still not very likely because he was used in one of the movies, but I'll get back to that later. Let's start off the video with what is and isn't considered to be actual canon when it comes to Shiki's story. The general consensus is that everything that happens in the manga is considered to be canon. So chapter 0 is technically canon, even though it isn't really about Luffy or the Straw Hats. It takes place several years before the actual storyline begins, and it depicts a lot of Shiki's backstory. So the Battle of Edward, canon. Shiki going to Marineford, raising it half to the ground and fighting Garp and Sengoku. You better believe that shit's canon. Him escaping Impel Down, that is canon. It's even mentioned in the manga when Luffy's escaping Impel Down. Here's where it gets interesting. At the end of chapter 0, we see Shiki talking to Whitebeard, and he says, and I quote, "I'm thinking of hiding myself away for a while. I'll show this soft and weakened world the terror of a true pirate again." And that's where the chapter ends. So Shiki actually having a plan to return is part of the actual canon, which to me seems kind of weird, seeing as his first return in the movie isn't. I mean, why would Oda include that panel unless he was actually planning on using Shiki again somewhere down the line? And I'm not talking about Strong World, I'm talking about way down the line, because Luffy defeating Shiki pre-time skip, that would never happen in canon, because as far as we know, Shiki was top tier during Roger's era, and that is saying a lot, because look at the monsters that we had back in those days. We had Garp, Sengoku, Whitebeard, and Roger. Not in that particular order probably, but still, those guys are all monsters, and Shiki was able to stand tall against those guys, and that's saying a lot. I mean a lot. Luffy currently, post time skip, at 1.5 billion berries is still probably nowhere near the level that those guys were back in the day in their prime. In other words, Shiki is not to be underestimated. Sure, if we see him again, he's gonna be old and he's not gonna be as strong as he was back in the day. But still, if we look at Whitebeard and the shit he was able to do when he was way out of his prime, isn't a testament to how you should never underestimate an old fucking One Piece, because Garp is still really strong. Like I said, Whitebeard was really strong, and if we ever see Shiki again, he's gonna be really strong. I mean, he's probably not Yonko level at this point, but I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, look at what he did in his youth. He went single-handedly to Marineford when he found out about Roger's arrest, and he took on probably hundreds of Marines before he eventually faced Garp and Sengoku single-handedly against those two monsters. Sure, he lost and he was sent to Impel Down, but do you know what the crazy fucker did after that? He cut off his fucking feet and flew out of Impel Down like a boss. And then he went straight to Whitebeard to tell him, "I'm gonna be back." Doesn't that seem a little bit odd to you? In fact, as I'm recording this, I'm getting more and more convinced that Shiki's gonna be back in the story. When he's gonna be back, however, I have no clue. I have one small, tiny little whimsy bit of evidence to suggest that he might be back in Wano. I think that's the most likely, because if we look back at when he faced Roger during the Battle of Edward, he was actually trying to get Roger to join him. Roger denied him and he got defeated and he got that wheel stuck in his head and all that. And then way down the line he went to Whitebeard and told him that he was gonna show the world the true terror of a pirate again. In other words, Shiki seems hellbent to shake the world to its very core once again. And who else do we know that's hellbent on doing that? Kaido, right? Kaido wants to start a war that will shake the world. And I think Shiki might have formed an alliance with him. Sure, it's a big maybe, but at the moment that's what seems most likely to me, because Kaido and Shiki seem to, at least in part, have the same goal. So, I don't know, maybe. I mean, he wears a kimono. And he's a swordsman. And one more tiny piece of evidence, and like I said before, manga is canon, anime is not necessarily canon, but in the anime, during the Kaido introduction, what music do you think they played if not Shiki's theme from the Strong World movie? Also, I mean, if I was Shiki, I would probably turn to Kaido as well if I was trying to show the world some true terror, because that guy's pretty scary. So anyway, that's what I have on Shiki. It's not the greatest theory in the world, and it has a lot of holes in it, and his return is still probably not very likely, though I am rooting for it, because I really like Shiki as a character, as a villain, and I hope to see him further down the line. What do you think? Do you think Shiki might return at all? Do you agree with me? Do you have a better theory than me? Probably. In that case, leave a comment down below and let me know. Also, make sure to subscribe for more content with me, Gus, and my friend Joe here on the Galley channel. Take care, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.